call yourselves good neighbors? You're the worst neighbors ever!
Squidward lashing at people, at SpongeBob and Patrick mostly, is a common occurrence in Bikini Bottom. We all know how irritable Squidward can be.
I hear you, I hear you!
Okay, good.
And SpongeBob never seemed to notice that.
Hi, Squidward. Wanna play?
No, and leave me alone!
Or maybe he just doesn't care. Anyway, we're not here today to talk about how surly Squidward is. We all know that already. Well, actually, we are still going to talk about his prickly personality.
Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. You're a half-wit who injured himself at work being a nitwit.
But in connection with something else. Yes, here comes another SpongeBob SquarePants conspiracy theory. As you all know, a lot of theories surround the show and its characters, and most of them are considerably dark. This is because people notice, see, or sometimes imagine a darker meaning behind some of the storylines. One theory stated that SpongeBob SquarePants represents pre-World War II Germany. Of course, it won't be a conspiracy theory if we aren't going to provide evidence to support this idea. For context, World War II, the largest and deadliest conflict in human history, involved more than 50 nations and was fought on land, sea, and air in nearly every part of the world. The war began when Nazi Germany, headed by Adolf Hitler, invaded Poland in 1939 and raged across the globe until 1945. In light of this, some are convinced, theorists mostly, that one of our favorite childhood shows, SpongeBob SquarePants, represents pre-World War II Germany. So, first, Squidward is said to be an embodiment of Adolf Hitler. How so? Well, Squidward, much like Adolf Hitler, one of the most well-known and reviled tyrants in history, is a failed artist.
I am Bikini Bottom's greatest artiste. I call it bold and brave.
And an all-out jerk. When he was 18, Adolf Hitler decided to pursue his youthful dream of becoming an artist. In Vienna, he stayed with his childhood friend August Kubizek, who was immediately accepted to a conservatory to study music while Hitler spent months sketching. You would have thought that he is well on the path to entering Vienna's Academy of Fine Arts, but lo and behold, even before coming to Vienna, he had already been rejected by the institution, as the admissions committee called his art drawing skills unsatisfactory. Well, if you see this drawing from his sketchbook, wouldn't you say the same? Squidward is no great artist either.
Ladies and gentlemen, behold my wondrous paintings.
The similarity doesn't end there. Adolf Hitler was described as impulsive, egocentric, cold, aggressive, unempathetic, and tough-minded, some of which characteristics Squidward possesses.
Lose! Need some tape?
No,
Why?
because I'm all out of money!
Aggressive? Check. Egocentric?
Hey, Squidward, you want me to cast out over here so you can watch me?
How about you cast out over there so I can ignore you?
Okay.
Check. Cold?
Just when I thought they couldn't get any stupider.
Check. Impulsive?
Oh, what do you two zeros know about fitting in? Why, you should be begging me to join.
Squidward, no, stop, see.
Check. And unempathetic.
Hey, Sandy, watch me do the grouchy Squidward.
Stop naming moves after me.
Everybody's an idiot except for me.
Well, it's true.
And again unempathetic.
Sorry, Squidward. I guess we were just so upset about the rain and how...
Don't care.
Double check. So that's for Squidward being a representation of Hitler, which proves that SpongeBob SquarePants represents pre-World War II Germany. As Squidward represents Hitler, Patrick symbolizes the innocents caught up in the catastrophe. Like the civilians caught up in the crossfires of the war, Patrick always unknowingly becomes a victim of something.
Hey, Rain! You better stop that!
Even when he wasn't doing anything, much like the innocent people caught in the middle of the catastrophe, Patrick ends up getting hurt somehow. And this...
Hey, pal. Oh! SpongeBob!
The jellyfish may be the representation of the barrage of bullets flying through the air at the time of war, hitting innocent bystanders. Meanwhile, Sandy, with her Texas heritage and admirable tenacity,
You mean you sent my best friend on a dangerous wild goose chase just so you could go shopping?
represents the United States. Sandy is always ready to roll up her sleeve to extend help.
SpongeBob, Patrick, Miss Puff, Mr. Krabs, Larry.
as well as to fight back against any injustice. She's also a true Texan,
Wish I was in Texas, prettiest place in the world.
and will always be someone with a genuine love for her motherland.
I guess that deep in my heart, I'll always be a Texas girl.
If you still aren't convinced that Sandy represents the US like the American people who fought against Adolf Hitler's reign of terror, look at this.
For I will follow you in your quest to defeat Planktonomor.
And if that was not about a very obvious reference to the war, I don't know what is. Okay, if you still don't believe me at this point, here's proof that SpongeBob SquarePants was set in the early years and not in the present time.
My great aunt Rosie Cheeks was the first squirrel to discover oil at Spindletop, Texas.
And if you look it up, the first major oil discovery in Texas was in 1894. Now, let's do another Google search to see when World War II happened. Well, it started in 1939 while Sandy's aunt discovered oil in Texas in 1894, just a few years before the war. Now that's enough proof that SpongeBob SquarePants represents pre-World War II. To complete the characters involved in the war, Mr. Krabs finally represents the rest of Europe, looking down upon Hitler for his atrocious acts and overall tyranny. Well, in this case, he's looking down on Squidward, who, as we have earlier established, is a representation of the tyrant.
You two had better come up with something tasty, or you're both double fired!
Although Squidward has always been able to brush off SpongeBob and Patrick's crazy antics, he can't do that to Mr. Krabs.
Get back to work, Mr. Squidward.
In fact, he can never get away from anything.
What are you going to do to me?
I'm gonna make you pay.
Even when he thinks he's outsmarted his greedy boss.
I took care of that personally, too. I had it hauled away to the dump.
All my money!
And the very obvious proof that he was looked down on is this.
Also, clean up here!
I said clean up!
If the show is really set before the war, all characters would have had either the skills or wit to survive. Mr. Krabs, for one, is a hoarder.
Your bill, sir.
What? $100? Well, this can't possibly be correct!
Oh, my mistake, sir. Thank you for pointing that out.
Well, maybe he can use something out of his collection to save his life. And he can also escape to sea.
You ought to be the one to ask nicely.
Mr. Puff can simply fly away from enemy troops.
Oh, actually, I feel like my old self again.
Meanwhile, SpongeBob can talk his way out
Insulting a man's ship be worse than insulting his mother.
No, wait, it was his mother you said was dirty, not his ship.
and make his enemies turn against each other. He can probably defend himself too.
This is a bunch of barnacles! I'm breaking in!
But he should lose the bunny suit for sure. Patrick, on the other hand, for lack of wit, can use his physical strength.
My name's not Rick!
But Sandy will probably survive by both using her intelligence and strength. She can invent something to protect herself.
Wow!
Howdy, SpongeBob. How do you like it?
What is it?
And she can use her strength too.
Faster, SpongeBob! She's gaining on us!
Sandy! No! Stop!
I warned you, Dirty Dan. Now you just crossed the border into Hurtville.
Even Plankton can save himself with his inventions when a war breaks out.
You'll rue the day we were born, Crabs. I'll be back. Oh, barnacle.
Well, if his invention stopped malfunctioning, he might have a fighting chance. The rest of the residents of Bikini Bottom can put on their weight too.
Push! Push!
Not to mention that they have Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy to swoop in and save the day. I think they were supposed to go towards, not away from people. At least they have reinforcements if they need them.
Together we are the International Justice Lodge of Super Acquaintances.
Let's get him, boys!
So that was it, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, we are Cartoon Conspiracies. See ya!